Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by Harry's. For guys who want a great shave experience for a fraction of what you're paying now, go to Harry's.com. For a limited time, new customers can get a free trial and pay just $3 for shipping by going to Harry's.com/HamNation. By ICOM. For more information, visit ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation. And by DX Engineering. DX Engineering offers practically everything you need to outfit your shack, plus the fastest shipping in the industry. In-stock items ship the same day, Monday through Friday until 10 p.m. Eastern. For more information, visit DXEngineering.com/HamNation. This is Ham Nation, episode number 240 for March 23rd, 2016. Vanity Calls 101. Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's Ham Nation night. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. We have the standard cast of the normal goon squad here, with the exception, the grown-ups are out tonight. We don't have Bob and we don't have Gordon, so the inmates are running the asylum. So tonight, well, anything could happen. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We've got Dale back with us tonight. So let's say, go around the horn real quick and say hello to Dale. It's been a while since we've seen you, sir.
Hey,
how are you tonight? What have you got? What have you got for us?
About 3 weeks. I'll tell you what, we have had wind in Kansas, gust over 40. In fact, sustained winds up between 35 and 40. And we had a fire plum from a fire about 80 miles to our southwest this afternoon, and dust storm. And I took a picture. Any of those of you who are friends on Facebook might want to check this out. It looks like the two horses of the apocalypse there. So unbelievable weather here. Tomorrow the temperature is supposed to drop about 25 degrees. So we're running late here today, getting organized. So that's about where we are, Don.
Wow, man, that's craziness. Well, let's go up to George real quick. George, I need to run to the kitchen real quick and grab something. So tell us what's going on with you tonight.
Well, Don, I've got a little video tonight. You know, Ray was here with me this past Wednesday night. And Thursday, he came back over, and Tommy came over, and we shot a long, detailed video of the IC 7300. That's not going to be posted until next week on the ICOM America YouTube. Be on their YouTube page. But I do have a little teaser from that tonight, a little clip. Just there's no way in the few minutes we've got here that I can show you the whole thing. The longer version of the video, it's going to be about an hour and 12 minutes, but it really goes into good detail on it. I did have one quick story from the trenches, Don. That is an email I got today from a radio station. It said, George, can you look to see what happened at 5 p.m. today? Music was playing during the recorded obituaries. Unfortunately, the song was Tequila Makes Her Clothes Fall Off.
And just to be clear, I do not work at that radio station, so this time it was not my fault. Just to be clear, this time it was not my fault. That's funny. Well, Amanda, what's going on over in Colorado? Let's get the beauty into our beasts.
Oh, hey, you guys. Well, I know you've all seen the news reports. I am not under blizzard conditions here. That is up north in Denver, but they are under a lot of snow, 2 feet by the airport at least. So a lot of the roads closed down in Colorado, just not here. I've just been battling some wind. So other than that, you guys, I'm going to be trying to check in to chat and talk to y'all and take some questions. So over to you, Don.
Awesome. I had to run to the kitchen real quick to get some stuff for show and tell. Gordon is out tonight. Bob is out tonight. I'm not sure what Bob's doing. Probably something out in Vegas. I think there's some big thing going on in Vegas. But Gordon is out. And next week, he wants me to let you know that Kevin will be at the Shack with short shots interviews on his operation with lithium iron phosphate batteries and a look inside those battery packs and a tour of the factory. So that is going to be very interesting as well. We've got, like we said, videos from Dale. We've got more with the 7300, and we've got your chat room questions, and we have Newsline with Tamitha Skov coming up. But first, I want to tell you about a great product that I really like, and it's Harry's. And Harry's is a great sponsor of Ham Nation. I've told you a lot of times that Harry's is something that I do for myself, kind of as a nice treat. And there's a new product now. Well, actually, it's an update of a new product from Harry's. I want to show you this. The Harry's razor is kind of a hard plastic. They have a metal version as well. But the new one right here, let me get, here we go. This has a rubberized handle with a grip on it. So it makes it very nice and very easy to hold on to. And, you know, of course, you're going to be shaving in a wet environment. You don't want to drop your razor. This completely eliminates that. And I love the metal handle that I have. But this thing, I mean, this is a worthy upgrade. If you're a Harry's man or Harry's girl, as my wife is, you need to. It's worth going and getting an extra handle, because this feels nice. You're gonna like this. Not only are the handles top quality, but they have high quality, high performance German blades, and they're crafted by shaving experts. They feel really, really good. You know, the worst cut you're ever going to have with a razor is going to be with a dull blade, and you never have to worry about that with Harry's. They will ship right to your doorstep, so you don't have to deal with lines at the drugstore or wait for somebody to unlock the plexiglass counter and walk you to the counter with handcuffs. It's maybe not quite that bad, but close. Over 1 million guys have made the switch to Harry's, and ladies too. The website is streamlined, very easy to use. It takes less than 30 seconds to place an order. The customer service is second to none. And, you know, I've used the Winston set and the Truman set. I have both. They're both really high quality. The blades are super sharp. You get a close, comfortable shave. You get the handle. You get the great look and the feel. This is nice. The extra razor blades, the shave cream, or the foaming shave gel, and it smells amazingly good. Everything looks really sleek. It looks great. It feels great. It works great. The best part is the price. It costs half as much as other razor brands, and it's all shipped right to your door. Why would you pay $32 for an 8-pack of blades when you can get them for half the price at Harry's? Harry's.com. And they will customize your shaving plan. Make sure you get the shave supplies delivered directly to your door on your terms, based how often you shave when you need them. And Harry's is so confident that you're going to love your shave. For a limited time, they will let you try it for free when you sign up for a shave plan. One of Harry's beautifully crafted razor handles, 5-blade cartridge, the foaming shave gel, travel cover for free. Just cover the $3 shipping charge. Go to harrys.com/hamnation right now to start your free trial. harrys.com/hamnation. I'm telling you, this new handle, I really like it. I really like it. You're going to like it too. You're going to love being a Harry's man. My wife loves my clean, close Harry's shave, and it's the funniest thing. I'll go to a ham fest. People will come up and they want to talk about ham radio, of course, or Ham Nation or Newsline or whatever. But a lot of them will come up and go, they want to talk about Harry's, and it's the craziest thing, but it's cool as it can be. Cool stuff. All right, enough about shaving. Let's take a look at the news of the week now, and we've got Dr. Skov as well. This is from Amateur Radio Newsline. From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2003, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, March 23rd, 2016. Historic rainfall in the southeast United States had radio amateurs on the alert. Stephen Canford, N8WB, has more.
Already having been called up by 2 emergency activations in February, hams were ready to go to work once more in Louisiana after flooding overtook the area as a result of record-setting rains in early March. A tornado watch on March 8th led to a Skywarn activation. As volunteers undertook weather spotting and reporting over linked repeaters, their reports not only covered Louisiana, but parts of Arkansas and Texas. Then an Aries team in southeastern Louisiana also became active for nearly 2 days in response to heavy rain and flooding. By March 11th, numerous waterways, streams, and major rivers had advanced beyond the flood stage. Hams were able to successfully transmit and receive weather bulletins on local repeaters, and fixed stations made use of Puckett radio on VHF as well as email to communicate with the National Weather Service. The highest rainfall reported to the National Weather Service was just shy of 27 inches.
It seems as if 2016 has had an unusually high number of high-profile deaths, and sadly, that holds true for amateur radio.
Grant Bingman, KM5KG, an influential designer and programmer who changed the shape of AM RF engineering, has become a silent key. The Plano, Texas amateur was an early developer of method of moments modeling of AM antenna systems and wrote his own programs for ham radio applications and to do AM modeling. A professional engineer, he was respected for his expertise in antenna couplers, network design, and phasing systems for AM radio, along with computer control. A longtime colleague, Jack Selmeyer, was quoted in one published article as saying that Bingman had worked at Gates Harris, Rockwell Collins, and later the Rockwell Collins broadcast division that was acquired by Continental Electronics. Selmeyer said industry consultants often relied heavily on his work for their phaser designs. Bingman, who died on February 29th, was 66. The amateur community is also mourning the loss of Mary Ann Kreider, WA3HUP, who for decades connected hams with other hams, quietly working behind the scenes as QSL manager for a number of DXers, including Jordan's King Hussein, JY1. She had also been manager of the W3 QSL Bureau. The Air Force veteran had been a licensed amateur since 1967 when she was in the service. The Pennsylvania amateur died March 12th at the age of 91.
As we mourn our losses, we look to the future. Amateur Radio Newsline is now accepting nominees for its 2016 Bill Pasternak Young Ham of the Year Award. We confer this annual honor on the best of the best, a young licensed radio amateur who's used ham radio for public service, benefiting his or her community, or who has impacted technological development affecting communications in some way. Nominees must reside in the United States, Canada, or Puerto Rico and be no older than 19. The judging committee will consider candidates who have made outstanding overall contributions, most especially in their public service work, but also for experimentation in technology, science, or electronic communication. For details on nomination requirements and to download an application form, visit our website, www.arnewsline.org, and click on the tab for YHOTY. Completed forms and supporting documentation should be sent to the Young Ham of the Year Award, in care of Amateur Radio Newsline, Inc., Editorial Office, Post Office Box 451, Huntington Station, New York, 11746. The award is named in memory of the late Bill Pasternak, WA6ITF, co-founder of the Amateur Radio Newsline, who not surprisingly was once an outstanding young ham himself, long before awards were given, growing up in Brooklyn, New York. Again, the website address is www.arnewsline.org, and click on the tab for YHOTY. Electronic filing will also be accepted. Send files in PDF or JPEG format via email to newsline@arnewsline.org. Deadline for submissions is June 30th, 2016. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for over 37 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Stephen Kinford in 8WB, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. And now, here's the solar update with Dr. Tamitha Skov.
Some pockets of wind continue to keep aurora photographers on their toes, and the low level of activity is sure to give some amateur radio operators some trouble. All those stories and more in the news this week. The sun continues its descent towards solar minimum. You can tell now because we've got these dark coronal hole regions that are forming more in the north and in the south and less in the equator regions. These are the sources of all the fast solar wind and the solar storms we've been getting recently. We have had some minor solar storm eruptions that have been in the Earth strike zone. We're feeling the effects of that now, but it's pretty minor. And then later in this week, you can see a finger of that coronal hole is going to come back into Earth strike zone. We should start getting some wind from that later in the week. Switching to our M-flare threat meter, you can see we are very low in terms of solar flux. We're hardly getting any flares that are even popping at the C-class level. This means the solar flux is staying really low, and we're hardly even getting enough flux for amateur radio propagation right now, and that's probably going to continue for the rest of this week. Switching to our solar storm conditions, you can see we actually have had a little bit of storming. It's been pretty sporadic. We had a good pocket there on the 15th and into the 16th, which then kind of bounced again on the 17th. All of this has been due to some fast wind from some coronal holes that have given us some sporadic but beautiful pulsating aurora if you've been able to catch it. Meanwhile, things have begun to calm back down, and we're expecting to continue to be quiet like this until about the 27th. Switching to our solar storm conditions and aurora possibilities over the coming week, we are anticipating the arrival of that high-speed wind somewhere around the 27th, maybe even late on the 26th. NOAA's giving us about a 20% chance of a minor storm at high latitudes until that wind hits. Once it hits, we're going to jump up into a major storm possibility and then calm down after that. At mid-latitudes, we're only expecting about a 5 to 15% chance of a minor storm, and that should also begin to calm down as we move into the early parts of next week. So your ham radio operators, you're probably still going to experience some real issues, but we do have another chance for some beautiful aurora. Switching to your solar flare and particle radiation storm outlook for the coming week, we only have a couple active regions on the disk right now, and they are very quiet. As a matter of fact, the activity is so low that we're actually having issues with some solar flux levels being high enough for amateur radio propagation. So you guys are probably going to have a problem over the next couple days, and then of course this solar wind hits. That's going to give us potentially another solar storm. So the amateur radio propagation this week is looking pretty bad. So the activity this week is mainly going to be dominated by fast wind from coronal holes. So you aurora photographers need to stay vigilant because aurora is going to be sporadic most likely. We also have had a few mini solar storm launches, but they're not really affecting Earth right now. And that low activity is going to frustrate the amateur radio operators because we're having the solar flux remaining extremely low. And that will probably continue for the rest of this week. But one thing is for sure, the sun always changes. So next week, we expect to have more active regions rotate into view, and that solar flux should rise again, so the propagation should get better. I'm Tamitha Scove. Thank you for watching.
Thank you to Dr. T. She puts these together just for us. She doesn't always get us one every week because she's extremely busy, as she was this week. And literally right before the show, I got the video and got it produced out and everything. So if you're on Twitter or Facebook, be sure to look her up and send her a thank you. Let her know you're a ham and how much you appreciate the extra work that it takes to put that together for us, because it takes a while to gather all that stuff up and put it all together. And she works hard for us, and we appreciate it. So Dr. T, if you're watching her in the chat room, she does get in the chat room every now and then and just kind of hangs out incognito. Thank you so much for everything you do for us. We do appreciate it. Another hardworking guy behind the scenes is our friend Dale, and you've got some good stuff for us this week. It's good to have you back, Dale. How are you?
Pretty good, Don. I think we do have some good stuff, so we'll jump right in. Won't dally around here. Got a real nice email from WF6J. That's Carl Schultz. He's the ARRL PIO for the Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club. We're going to go ahead and roll their video now. Carl and his team did a real good job. These first shots are at 0 dark 30, actually 5:30 in the morning, as they got set up there for the Swapfest from the Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club. They had a great time, offered 18 prizes, raffled off every half hour. They had 3 Yaesu FT2900R 2-meter mobiles they gave away as grand prizes. Sold over 1,000 tickets, had lots of donuts and coffee, and they report that everyone had a good time. Well, the sun came up eventually, and everybody got set up, and there's some really nice radios out there that everybody was taking in. The club got together with Carl, and last year they did it on a small scale. They had Randy, our friend K7AGE, shoot some stills, but this year they got a quadcopter and some DSLRs and some video cameras, and they went to town. They had some really nice low-angle shots there earlier on the video, but what they really sing at there is the PR. They got the local television reporter actively involved, and she was having a really good time, and you're going to see that here in just a little bit. Here's Carl.
So, what do you think you want to do on a Saturday morning at 6 o'clock? You want to come out to Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club's ham swap. The rain stopped. The weather is beautiful here. It's a balmy, I don't know, 30, 40 degrees right now. We're having a good time. Look at all this equipment out here. This is really, really cool. I'm having fun. I'm out here helping out, actually, because I'm part of the club. My name's Bob. I'm K6UDA, and we're out here in Loomis live doing this ham swap. This is the second annual one. First annual one went beautiful, had great weather. This one, we've got marginal weather, but we've got a lot of good stuff for sale here. Man, there's a ton of treasures, and some of them are coming out right now, right into the shot. Yes.
I didn't know you were shooting.
That's okay. Negative security, we need this frequency for TV for about 5 minutes.
I'll just come right over to you.
You got walked on. What was it?
Hey, Ty, give me a quick test.
That's right, you guys. Now, here. We're playing a little bit of a game right now. We're at this huge ham swap fest that we're going to have Ty here, but we're talking out of Bob's stuff. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to play a little game of Find Bob. Have a good day.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so now, I know that was.
Rolling?
You're rolling now.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Bob from Good Day Sacramento. We're out here in Loomis, and this guy here is really in my face.
Okay, Bob, K6 UDA, having a great time working with the reporter there from the local Channel 13, I believe it was, television station. And good job putting the video together from Carl Schultz, WF6J. They were having a good time, and the reporter was having a good time, and a lot of people probably learned about amateur radio during that activity. So that's a good thing to do out there. Talk it up. That way we get more hams into our community. I'll tell you what, let's move right along, go into Dan's video, N9LVS. He does the wiki for Ham Nation, also runs the hamnationvideos.info website. And we're going to let him tell you how to get your vanity call sign, if that's your cup of tea. So let's listen.
This video is ham radio applying for a vanity call sign. So what is a vanity call sign? A vanity call sign is a special amateur radio call sign specifically chosen by a person or a club who is currently an amateur radio licensee. Vanity call signs usually include alphabetical characters of personal significance, or sometimes are simply chosen because they are shorter calls, or sometimes have duplicate or triple duplicate characters. So now I've determined that I want a vanity call sign. What kind of call sign can I get? Well, here are the 4 eligibility groups. For instance, in my case, I'm an extra class license, so I can get a 1x2 or a 2x1. If I was advanced, I could get a 2x2 call, and so on. Now that doesn't mean if I'm a technician, I can't get a 2x3 call. But if I were a technician, I couldn't get a 2x2 call, or a 1x2 or a 2x1. So what website would I go to if I was looking for a vanity call sign? RadioQTH.net. There you find the best list of amateur radio call signs available. Just click on Available Call Sign, and it will bring you to this page. Now, in my case, I live in 9 land, so I want to make sure that I have a 9 call. So all I'm going to do is click on here and put a 9 in there instead of a 7. And then let's see. We're looking for a 1x2 call sign. Has to be something available. I guess not. I see one here for 27 days away from being available. Now let's try for a 2x1 call sign. There's not a whole lot available there. Those call signs that are available have already been filed for. So I guess we're going to have to try something new. Let's try a 2x2. There's got to be some 2x2 call signs out there. And sure enough, we do have some that are available. So this is a good starting point for us. Well, once we've come up with a few call signs, so where from here? Let's go to Google, search FCC ULS. From the FCC ULS main page, we click on Online Filing, Log In. Now here's where you log into the ULS database. You'll need your FRN number and your FRN number password. You can find your FRN number by looking at your entry on QRZ. If you forgot the password, just click here. Now log in. Now this is your ULS main page. Over to the far right, click on Request Vanity Call Sign. In this section we have application questions, which include application and regulation fees. Click No on both and click Continue. This is the eligibility section. Click on the appropriate box for your vanity call sign and click Continue. Now this is the area that you tell the FCC what call sign you might want. Just type them in the appropriate boxes, up to 25. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to end up with 25 call signs. So make sure you put them in order of priority and then click Continue. Then this area here is where you verify your personal information. Once verified, click Continue. This is the final certification page. Make sure that all the information is correct before hitting Certify. After you hit Certify, you'll get a small landing page that basically says Successfully Completed. Approximately 18 days later, you'll get your license. I hope this video has been helpful, and 7 threes from N9 LVS.
Dale, I think you muted yourself. Dale? Can you hear me, Dale? I think you might have muted yourself by accident.
This is one of those nights, isn't it? Okay, we'll just pick it up right out of Dan there. Thank you, Dan. We appreciate you going to all the work to put together that presentation about vanity call signs. And thank you for the work on the Ham Nation Wiki as well as on the hamnationvideos.info website. That just about wraps it up for the video section. One quick thing. We've got about, I think, around 7 or 8 volunteers now to man the booth at the Ham Nation booth at Dayton. So if you'd like to participate there, drop us a line to the Ham Nation Videos at twit.tv address. We'll take care of that. We can use some more photos, almost have enough, but we can use half a dozen more at least to put together another Show Me Your Shack episode. So get that to us and we'll get it on. Right now, we're going to listen to George, and he's got some fantastic video about that brand new radio, the 7300. George, good evening.
Well, good evening, Dale. Some good videos there tonight. Yeah, I do have some video about it, but first, let's look at the official announcement from ICOM, our sponsor.
The wait is over. The IC7300 is here. ICOM's new innovative HF transceiver will far exceed your expectations for a radio considered entry level. The 7300's RF direct sampling system is an industry first. It departs from the conventional superheterodyne system. RF signals are directly converted to digital data. Digitizing the RF before various receiver stages reduces inherent noise generated from different IF stages. A large 4.3-inch color touchscreen promotes intuitive operation and functions like the waterfall, which displays high-level performance in resolution, sweep speed, and dynamic range. The audioscope function allows you to observe various audio frequency, transmit, and receive characteristics, and a high-resolution real-time spectrum scope includes a new magnify function. Other great IC7300 features include RMDR and superior phase noise characteristics, 15 discrete bandpass filters, and more. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur and learn more about the new ICOM IC7300.
And you can tune in and enter to win after each episode of Ham Nation. Go to icomamerica.com/hamnation. Register for some great swag prizes like T-shirts and hats. And while you're there, learn how you could win the monthly grand prize drawing for a new radio. And for March, it's going to be the ICOM ID880H VHF UHF digital transceiver, analog and D-Star, 50 watts on both VHF and UHF, wideband receiver, free CS80/880 cloning software, and more. So go to icomamerica.com/hamnation and register to win after this and each episode of Ham Nation. Sign up, good luck, and don't forget to follow ICOM America, Inc. on Facebook and Twitter. And we were talking about the IC7300 here. Well, as I mentioned at the first of the show, Tommy and I had a chance to sit down here and visit with Ray for, well, it was better than 2 hours. And we got some in-depth video on the IC7300. We ended up streaming it live, so we took some chat room questions there as well. That video should be posted sometime next week on the ICOM YouTube channel. We'll let you know about that once it has posted. But I've got a little sneak peek of it here that you can barely scratch the surface in the few minutes we got here. But let's just take a look and get a little of the background on the radio.
Point out a couple of new things here about this radio before we turn it around and start actually punching knobs and buttons.
Well, the first obvious thing is the large screen on the front of it. It's going to be a touch screen, and I'm not really sure what sections I'm touching from this direction. So,
yeah.
But touch screen, a multifunction control that when you push it, it brings up a function. Then you can select by touching the item, and then you can make the adjustment to it. Touch it again, it goes away. You've got several hard buttons across the bottom that bring you into different menus. You've got your basic menu. There we go. Back and forth, the icons that you can navigate through when you touch them. Then you have your functions.
And there's another thing that sets this radio apart from all the previous Japanese radios ever released here. Is that correct? Something different about the technology of this radio.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting into the user interface, and the hardware on it it's the first truly software-defined radio with a direct sampling A to D converter, and then everything being processed in a FPGA.
And so although it looks just like a traditional radio, well, a modern traditional radio, it's a software-defined radio.
And you can operate it without the requirement of having a computer.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
There's some software-defined radios out there now that have a nice user interface control box, but you still have to have everything running through the computer for your demodulation and modulation on it. So I mean, those are real cool devices. This isn't going to replace some of those. I mean, I've seen where you could watch 4 or 5 different bands at the same time, but you're looking at, this one's not going to do that.
Well, this one's not in that price range.
No, you're getting what you pay for with a lot of these radios. This is about 1/4 what the higher end SDR radios are. So this is one that we're hoping everybody can save up their pennies to play around with. We call it an entry-level radio. I've been chastised by calling it that because there's so many features with it.
Yeah, it's got a lot more than you'd see on a radio called entry level.
To me, it looks a step up from entry level.
Yeah, it does.
But I mean, we got a whole new group of hams that are coming in that are used to a little bit higher grade entry level type product, whether it's a computer or a tablet. They like the gadgets, they like the the ability to have a smooth user interface. So I've seen a lot of new hams that are saying I'm saving up for that radio.
I have seen a lot of buzz about this radio, and well, I think you're going to have a real winner here. It's just everything I've seen from everybody. It pushes everybody's buttons, it seems like. So, color touch screen. It's a software-defined radio. It's got an auto tuner built in it.
Yes, it's got an auto tuner built into it, and one of the cool things about the auto tuner is if you set it in emergency mode, it drops the radio down to 50% power, but it will handle to a 10-to-1 SWR.
Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive.
So, I mean, field day, or if you're doing soda work, a little bit heavier than some of the real small radios that I've seen people do soda work with, but a lot of flexibility. It does RTTY encode decode, and it AM, FM, upper lower sideband.
So when the squirrel has cut your antenna down again, you can still transmit, I guess.
Yeah, don't jinx me. I just put it back up about 3 weeks ago.
Serious.
So Tommy, what you got any questions about this before we really get into the nuts and bolts?
I'm dying to get into the screen here and see what she'll do.
Okay, great. Anything else you want to tell us before we flip her around and
let's go for it?
I do have one question. Is there any specialized software for it, or can you use pretty much any?
Well, it's got a USB port on it, and as we said last night, make sure before you plug it into your computer and let the OS gurus try to figure out what you just plugged in. Download the ICOM drivers, install those, then plug it in, because you get two COM ports with this USB port. One is a virtual COM port for the sound card. The other one is your actual control. So you've got your rig control and then everything audio through it. We've got the ICOM RSBA1 software. They just did an upgrade to that. So new additions to the CI5 code is going to give you your band scope.
Okay.
So this is at home. You're in Dallas. You bring up your laptop. You can see what the bands look like, jump the bands using the software, and see what kind of activity's out there.
Well, cool. Well, I'll have to try that here in a few weeks if I can get this out of here when we get done tonight.
Okay, well, let's take a little deeper look at this.
Excellent. Here we go, looking at the back of the radio. Some of your obvious common points to take a look at. Your power input is a 4-pin. Underneath that is your ground lug to tie together. You've got your coaxial input, only one antenna input.
Okay.
One thing to keep in mind, we mentioned earlier, an entry-level type radio, it's not going to have your big rig features like a separate receive antenna jack, video output, some of the things like that. But you do have your antenna jack for like your AH4.
Auto tuner.
Auto tuner, so you want to do a long wire. You've got your amplifier connections for your ALC and your key. You've got a 1/4 inch for your CW key in the back. External speaker, and we still have the CI5 remote jack on it. Here's your USB port. And then, George, one of your favorite ports, that 13-pin DIN that you can run your audio in from your soundboard. One of the other things is the large oversized fan for it.
Yeah, that is a big fan. That's as big as on most computer power supplies.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So it should move a lot of air, which tells me that it's going to be 100% duty cycle as well.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Good point. So tell us a little more about that USB jack on there.
The USB port, like we talked about earlier, to make sure you download your drivers. It does your audio in and out, as well as your rig control with 2 COM ports, one hard COM port, one virtual. So your favorite control software, whether it's the ICOM RSBA1 software or any of the other softwares out there, you can connect them and use them in that direction. One of George's favorites, let's go over here back to 40 meters. George, tell us about this one.
This is something I didn't have on the 7700 until a recent firmware update. Of course, you've got your display, like you normally got the frequency and all your operating parameters, but you've also got an audio scope where right here you're seeing kind of like a spectrum analyzer would display. We're seeing that tone right there popping up at, I can't read it from here, but it looks like around 1 kilohertz.
You're right.
On this side over here, you've got a waveform like you would see on an oscilloscope. And yeah, you can go in, look at it a little tighter. On voice, it looks like voice on an oscilloscope.
So let's go here. Oh, wait a minute. Miniscope, menu, audio.
Yep.
He said
Yeah,
voice.
go up there to a voice channel. Let's see. That's a
shortwave.
A shortwave there. But
so you can look at your different levels.
Yep. And I would assume we don't have a microphone with us here.
But what I'm doing here is look at the adjustment of the scope by using
Very
the
sharp,
filter.
yeah. Oh, you can just hold it in.
So as we're shifting it,
you're seeing it actually work.
So look at it roll off here.
Yeah. Just noticing that.
And I would assume it is this way on the 7700. When you go into transmit, these scopes will show your transmit audio.
Yes.
Of course.
Now, can you do this with your 7700 where you have both the mini scope as well
Yes.
as your audio scope?
Yes, and that's the way I normally run my rig right there. I really like that. I mean, do I need to see the audio scope to operate? No, I don't really need to see it, but it sure is cool to look at. You know,
He's an audio engineer, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's watching his scope. Don't let him fool you.
You know it.
But you can even hold it, freeze it in time, attenuation.
Oh, okay.
Your memories, your memory lists, your alphanumerics. You got your scan functions for it. Your memory pad, so your quick menus that you jump through.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have your favorite ones that you want to use.
You get to them quick that way.
How many? So we have one loaded in it.
Mm-hmm.
We can expand to see. So you got 5 of them. I bet in the setting you can go either 5 or 10. So your 5 favorite frequencies or your 10 favorite frequencies. Your recording, and then the set modes. We already looked at others. The SD card, it's not there. Screen capture view.
Oh, nice.
So
you can get a screen scrape and save it to the card.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. A little bit more on the IC 7300. There's way more to learn about it, and it'll be in the video that'll be posted next week, like I said. And if you're interested in that radio, or whether you're planning on buying one or just want to know more about it, you really need to check out that video when it comes out, because it answers a whole lot of questions, and I think you'll like what you see. As a matter of fact, it looks kind of like that, doesn't it? That's my IC 7700. Well, last week I asked a question: what does RFI stand for? And the reason I ask it is because I don't remember who it was. Somebody mentioned RFI in the show, but they didn't say what it was. So I said, good question. And we had a winner. It was William McGurk, N4THC. Congratulations, William. He said RFI stands for radio frequency interference. And just about everybody got that one right. We all knew it stood for radio frequency interference. A lot of times you'll just hear the term RF, but that's generally what they mean when they're talking about interference. RF will work. I got another. Well, let me tell you what he won. He won 50 feet of DX Engineering 400 max coaxial cable here with the connectors already installed. Nice silver-plated crimp-ons there, installed at the DX Engineering factory. We're going to give away some more of this next week, and I've got another question for you. Which of the following describes combining speech with an RF carrier signal? This came from the amateur radio technician exam. It's A, impedance matching, B, oscillation, C, modulation, or D, low-pass filtering. If you think you know the answer to that, then send me your answer to hamnationcontest@gmail.com, and you might win 50 feet of 400 max cable from DX Engineering. And I'm going to throw in an extra prize with it for next week. We're also going to give you one of these MFJ 2703, and this is the 2703N here. It's a type-in RF switch, antenna switch for 3 antennas in one rig, or 3 radios and 1 antenna, whichever way you want to go. I've used the 2-position switch like this. These are really nice heavy-duty switches here. This one weighs about 1.5 pounds. It comes with either a type-in, or you can get SO239 connectors to fit your PL259s. It can cover up to 2 kilowatts on HF. You can go up to 1 kilowatt on VHF with it, or 500 watts on UHF. And the type-in version of this will even go up to 3 gigahertz. Then you can get 150 watts from 1 to 3 gigahertz through it. So a nice heavy-duty switch here, courtesy of MFJ. So send your answer to me, hamnationcontest@gmail.com, and we're going to give this away to somebody next week. So now let's toss it back to Don and see what we're going to do now.
Yeah, speaking of DX Engineering and that nice hunk of coax that you just gave away, we're going to talk about DX Engineering, and we're going to talk about, well, antennas and stuff. Because, Dale said they had 30, 40 mile an hour winds over there by him. We just had the flooding down here. There's snow actually up in Denver right now. We saw some snow up there, and also in Wyoming. So spring is here officially by the calendar, but Mother Nature's not quite ready to let go. And if Mother Nature's done a number on your tower this winter, or maybe this is the year you finally decide you're going to put up a high-performance antenna to really work some DX, well, DX Engineering can help you out on both fronts, because DX Engineering carries a comprehensive lineup of towers, tools, accessories, everything you need to keep your antenna up in the sky where it belongs. Works a lot better once you, get it up off the ground and out of the box. DX Engineering makes it easy to get your tower up with products from American Tower. They carry the entire American Tower line, and that's a wide range of sections, bases, brackets, and accessories to make sure that your tower gives you years of trouble-free service. And depending on what antenna you're using, Amorite towers work well in self-supported guide or bracketed installations. Each section is hot dip galvanized for corrosion resistance. Then it's double bolted, give you an extra strong junction between the segments. And of course, Roan Tower is a trusted and old line name, and DX Engineering is an authorized Roan distributor, which means you get access to the entire Roan line, 45G, 55G, and the 25G that has been just popular for decades. DX Engineering carries Roan accessories, guying hardware, work platforms, anchor rods, thrust bearings, the whole line. And both Roan and American Tower products are available separately or in prepackaged kits that DX Engineering has put together to eliminate a lot of component matching guesswork, because they are experts over there. You got to have guy lines, and Philistran is the go-to guys for both amateur and commercial. Philistran guy lines are constructed of super strong aramid fiber. The best part is that Philistran guy lines are electrically transparent. That means they won't have an adverse effect on your antenna pattern. Philistran also offers its big grip dead ends to finish your guy line installation. They're made specifically for the non-metallic Philistran high-performance guy lines. Color-coded, easy identification. They're galvanized to resist corrosion. Remember, even if you're ordering a big tower section, DX Engineering will work with you to arrange hassle-free shipping and delivery. No guesswork or additional charges. If you got questions, about environmental or antenna challenges, DX Engineering can help you. Their technical staff is there to walk you through the process from A to Z. And of course, DX Engineering ships faster than anybody else in the industry. If you get your ground shipping in by 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and it's in stock, that order will be on a truck headed your way that day. Proven products, expert advice, DX Engineering will help you shrink the globe. You need to go online and grab the catalog. Of course, you can also shop online 24/7 at dxengineering.com/hamnation. But this is the go-to thing right here. You got to have a copy of this. And this is the autumn winter 2015. Not sure when the spring catalog is coming out, but shouldn't be very long from now. dxengineering.com/hamnation. Thank you so much for being part of the Ham Nation family. DX Engineering, we literally could not do this without you. A lot of great information. This is the biggest catalog they've ever done. A lot of really good information in here. And everything you need to know about ham radio stuff is in there. And if it's not in there, the phone number to DX Engineering is, and those are the people to go to. Let's go to now. Thank you again, DX Engineering. Let's now head out to the aforementioned Colorado, where it is not snowing by Amanda's house. So what's going on over there, Amanda? Do we have any good chat room questions tonight for us?
We do, actually. We have some great chat room questions and some great announcements, by the way. A lot of upgrades. Doug, KD0TKS, just went in for his general on Saturday, walked out as an AE. All right, Doug, went all the way to extra there. Also, I got a phone call earlier this week, KE5ZI. I can speak this week, I promise you. KE5ZIK upgraded to extra as well. Don has ruined me for life, you guys. I'm just putting that out there. And Robert, KM6BJF, just passed his technician and got his call sign today. So he's so happy to be on the show, on the chat, and letting us know that. So with that, a couple more announcements. Don't forget to I'm going to speak. I am going to speak. VK0EK, you guys, just got on the air this today. So, and that's Herd Island. And other announcements, Val should be doing this, by the way. The CQWPX contest is this weekend. I know I'm going to hear all of you guys on there. I look forward to working it myself. So, with that, I have some actual questions. My good friend, Ron, KC0ZPS, he has an AL811, and he's wondering when should he be replacing his tubes. And I just want to show him the box. These are the original tubes that came in that AL811. And George, do you have the answer? Should you replace your tubes? Do you wait for them to blow? When's a good time to replace them?
You replace them when they start getting soft, and what that means is when they won't make full power anymore. But you can run them, until they completely quit. Usually the filament won't burn out in one before it just gets, can't keep up with emissions, and it just eventually slowly tapers down. It's not really so much like a transistor where it's working and then it quits. A tube has a finite lifetime, and it'll just kind of taper off toward the end of its life. And when you can't make power anymore, when you can't make full power, you can start thinking about a replacement. But keep in mind that your line voltage will affect how much power you're getting out of your amplifier. So look and see what the plate voltage reading is on your amplifier before determining that your tubes are going bad. It depends on how much you use it and how long the filaments are on. But if you've got an 811 or an 811H, which is what I have, I put 572B Svetlana tubes in it, like you showed the box there. Those are hard to find now. They're not made anymore. So your mileage will vary. Depends on what tubes you have in it as to what kind of life you're going to get out. But I wouldn't worry about replacing them until, they just start going soft.
Very good. Well, I have the same amplifier since you saw the box I have. And all of our tubes have recently been replaced. Still a no-go. What would you look at then? Maybe the sockets? What do you think?
The amplifier doesn't put out any power at all? Is that what I'm understanding?
That is correct. No power.
Well, there's, I hate to tell anybody how to work on an amplifier because there's some really high voltage in there you can kill yourself with. But if you know what you're doing, I would say the first thing to look for in that amplifier would be the relays. There's some 2 little relays in there used for transmit and receive switching. Those things should click whenever the amplifier is keyed up. And even though they are clicking doesn't necessarily mean that they're working correctly. I know I've had to replace them on mine. I've heard of other people needing to do that as well.
Very good. And on the R811, we've also had to clean up the switch for the band switch. So, and it's been cleaned up quite a bit. So that could be it. But hey, you know what? I don't sweat it because Jeff is insured. He's got health insurance, you guys. He's good. I'm kidding. That's awful. Okay, so the other question I heard, Don, KA1, no, that's not right. K4IVY, Kevin wants to know why the Last Man Standing t-shirts. Why do we have them on?
Well, because no one wants to see me without a shirt, for one. This is the Last Man Standing Amateur Radio Club. They have what is it? Is it KA6LMS? I think is their call sign.
Yeah.
They actually have a Last Man Standing Amateur Radio Club, and on the nights that they shoot the show, when they take their lunch break, they actually fire up the radios on the set, and you can contact them. Amanda's in the log. I got in the log yesterday. So if you follow them on Facebook, right around 2300 Zulu, on the nights that they shoot is when they take their break. And if you follow them on Facebook or Twitter, then you'll see when they're on. And so they decided to do this. And so I'm not exactly sure who they're sending the shirts out to, but they have their own QSL cards as well. But I'm pleased as I can be and honored to have a Last Man Standing Amateur Radio Club shirt on. I think it's cool as it can be. Nothing on the back. This is the only thing that's on it, but it's cool as it can be.
Absolutely. Did you have something, George?
Yeah, I wanted to add there, about being careful when you're working on an amplifier. Not only will it kill you, it'll hurt really bad the whole time it's doing it.
Very good. And Jeff has taken the top off of ours and things like that. And he's like, I've got to look at these tubes. And we replaced all the tubes, unfortunately, and that did nothing for us. But he was adamant about safety first and standing away from it and letting all the capacitors discharge for a long time before you even put your face near it. So yes, be very, very careful. When it says high voltage, it's not lying. Be very, very careful of that stuff. Absolutely. And I had my questions backwards. That was not who asked about the Last Man Standing. K4IVY asked about what was the trivia question again, George. So if you wouldn't mind repeating that.
The question for tonight, which of the following describes combining speech with an RF carrier signal, A, impedance, B, oscillation, C, modulation, or D, low-pass filtering?
Okay, very good. And I appreciate that. And it was Mike, VE3MIC, that wanted to know about the Last Man Standing shirts because he's always so inquisitive and such a great character. By the way, okay, so one more thing, you guys. I just want to let you know, I've seen some of you get kicked out of the chat room for using upper caps too much. Just be very aware of that. And also, do not repeat yourself word for word in questions or any kind of comments that you have because the Twit chat bot will kick you out, and we don't want to make you upset. It's just what they do. So it's not for us per se, but mostly for trolls. So just be aware of that. If you get kicked, that's usually why. Other than that, you guys, that's all the questions I have. So I'm going to send it back over to you, Don.
Great. We've had a good show tonight in spite of me. 14268, from what I understand, is the 20-meter net that's going on now. 7270, of course, is 40-meter net or thereabouts, those frequencies. That's what I saw in the chat room. Does that sound right?
Don, 7220, I think he's firing up on.
Oh, 20.
I just talked to Kevin a little while ago and worked him on there. He was going to try to keep that frequency clear, 7220, unless things have changed, but he hasn't texted me and let me know. So I think that's it.
Well, just go to those frequencies and go plus or minus till you find them. Just, tune around. That's why they got that big fat knob on the front of the radio. Also, we've got George. Where are the digital nets now? Remind me of where those are.
Okay, Echo Link is star dewdrop in star node number 355800, and D star is reflector 14 module C.
Awesome. We're going to have a good show next week because I know Gordon will be back. I think Bob will be back as well. And everything you've wanted to know about those lithium iron, not lithium ion, lithium iron batteries that Gordon has been so hot on, we're gonna talk about that. So cannot wait for that. So it's been a good show tonight. I want to thank everybody for participating. Dale, your videos were awesome as usual. George, can't wait to get my hands on the 7300. Looks like Huntsville is going to be my first opportunity because I'm not going to make it to Dayton. Amanda, awesome job as always in the chat room. And of course, all you folks in the chat room and watching and listening and participating makes it all worthwhile. We do. There they are. There's the real stars of the show, the chat room guys. We do it for you guys, and you help us out tremendously. Keep us on our toes. So thank you all so much. And we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. So for the assembled throng, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5W. Good night, all 73. Thanks a lot.